Good morning. My name is Kierra Calhoun. I am a junior social work major at Albany State University, and this morning I will be doing my presentation on victim advocacy. First, I will begin by explaining the job duties and responsibilities of a victim advocate. The victim advocate will offer support on a one-on-one basis or by leading a support group. By leading a support group, the victim advocate will be the leader of helping people who have been affected by a crime or an assault or any other situation in which they were a victim. They also help victims by creating a safety plan. They inform victims of their rights and what to expect from a legal process because they may have to go to court. Assist in completing and submitting an application for victim compensation. Accompanying victims to court hearings and other legal proceedings. Contacting victims if their aggressor has been paroled or released from prison. Job agencies in which victim advocates may be employed is in the criminal justice field, social services field, and community outreach. By being in a criminal justice field, they can work in a parole office, in a jail, or anything else that relates to criminal justice. They also will be housed at nonprofit organizations, state or federal legal offices, shelters, or community centers. The education for a victim advocate. To become a victim advocate, one must possess an associate, bachelor's, or a master's degree in psychology, criminal justice, social work, or education. Experience working with victims of crime or abuse, such as volunteering, internship, or previous employment in law enforcement or social work, is highly recommended. It is not required by the law to have certain credentials, but some states do require for you to be a victim advocate that you have a license in social work. The National Organization for Victim Assistance offers a 40-hour credential program, which you can earn 4 different levels of credentialing. The best aspects of being a victim advocate. You will work with victims in terms of advocating for self-determination. You will work with individuals, families to mobilize resources and promote social functioning, contributing positively to the lives of victims, and advocating for equality, protection of rights, self-determination, and human treatment. Challenging aspects of being a victim advocate. Safety is always a number one when working with people. Working with individuals can be stressful, hazardous, and overwhelming. It can be difficult to build relationships with involuntary clients who may feel that they do not have a bond with you or that you are a stranger. So it takes a client and social work relationship before a client is able to get comfortable with the victim advocate. You have the responsibility for making appropriate measurements and making decisions that affect children, youth, families, and communities, which can be overwhelming because you always want to make sure that you do the right thing for them, which can be overwhelming because you may always feel like this is not right or I have to do something more, which that plays to the best aspects because you're advocating if, for instance, there is a policy in effect, but that policy does not help the victim, you can always advocate to get it revised so that the victim that is not included in that policy can be included in that policy by you advocating for them. The salary of a victim advocate. In the state of Georgia, a victim advocate annually average of $31,372. However, the salary can vary by experience. If you have experience of less than a year, you could possibly make $33,996. 1 to 4 years, you could possibly make $34,268. 5 to 9 years of experience, $38,062. 10 to 19 years, $39,018. and over 20 years, you can have experience of $39,969. For employment outlook of a victim advocate, it is projected to reach 16% for 2026 due to the increase of victims. Interprofessional collaboration. Psychiatrists is one because they can diagnose, prevent, study, or treat mental diagnosis. You never know, with the victim being affected, they could become a victim of a mental diagnosis or a mental disorder. So that is where the psychiatrists come into play by testing them to make sure that if they do have one, to diagnose it, to prevent it from happening, or if they do, to treat it. The counselor comes into play because they resolve and help the client by resolving personal, social, or psychological problems and difficulties that the crime or assault may have caused to that victim. And the law enforcement comes into play because we have police officers that respond to the scene when there is a crime or assault happening. You have to go through the law, the judge, because you may have to go through legal proceedings. Ethical standards. Each profession has their own standards in which they conduct the way that they practice. So with a victim advocacy, their ethical standards combined with social work and the criminal justice system. So the first ethical standard is 3.1, which states the victim assistant provider respects and attempts to protect the victim's or survivor's civil rights. The second one is the victim assistant recognizes their interests of the person served as a primary responsibility, meaning that the victim that they are helping, that is their primary job and their primary responsibility to help that victim. That is their first and only responsibility. 3.3, the victim assistant provider refrains from behaviors that communicate victim blame, suspicion regarding victim or survivor accounts of crime, condemnation, past behavior, or other judgments or sentiment. As a victim advocate, you cannot say that the victim did this or that which caused them to become a victim, or you cannot judge them or be biased because of their past or anything that maybe comes up that maybe they had something on their criminal record. 3.4, the victim assistance provider respects the victim's right to self-determination. The victim has the right to make their own decisions regarding their case. If they choose not to proceed with legal, then that is their right. They do not have to. We cannot force that upon them because it is a part of their self-determination and how they want to handle the situation. 3.5, the victim assistance provider avoids conflicts of interest and discloses any possible conflicts of the program or person served, and also to prospective programs or person to be served. 3.6, the victim assistance provider terminates professional relationship with a victim or survivor when the victim or survivor is not likely to benefit from continued services. 3.7, the victim assistance provider does not engage in personal relationships with persons served that exploit professional trust or that can impair the victim assistance provider objectivity and professional judgment. 3.8, the victim assistance provider does not discriminate against a victim or survivor and does not turn victim or survivors away from services due to personal biases or lack of cultural competency. The victim assistance provider furnishes opportunities for colleagues to access services if or when these colleagues become victims or crime or trauma. And this presents my project.